What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellows Show. We have a fun one for you guys today. We're doing our first, I think this is my first best ball live stream of the year, and we're joined by special guest John Hefferson. Good evening, John. How are we doing? It's hot. We got our tank tops on. How are we doing?
I am sweating everywhere. Doing great. I couldn't imagine a better way to rock a best ball here.
Sweating everywhere, and like this upcoming weekend, like it's going to be 90s in the Midwest, and it's just kind of outrageous right now. But we're chilling. We got our tanks on. Obviously, we're chilling with the tanks. I'm going to be drafting from the 2-hole. John is in the 8-hole, so we'll have a good perspective of this board. And man, I can't believe like it's June 17th, and this is my first Drafters live stream of the year, which is if you guys know me, I'm kind of a Drafters best ball crack addict, but we're doing it. This is the $20 main event. First place is $500K. There's a $2.5 million prize pool. If you guys have not signed up for Drafters, there's a code somewhere in the description. But John, you've been dabbling. You've been dabbling,
and it looks like you're going to be on the clock here in just 10 seconds or less. But yeah, but I've done a couple. I've aspired to try to do like at least a $2 a day, but not even close to that rate right now. We still got a little ways to go. What are you doing here, Kyle?
Well, we got. I just want to shout out Hopscotch Daisy. He's drafting from the 12-hole, so we'll have to keep an eye on what he's doing. I'm from the 2. Jamar Chase. Anytime I get the 101, I'm taking Jamar Chase, but 102 is kind of like this interesting spot. I can go Justin Jefferson, Bijan, Saquon. I kind of like taking CeeDee Lamb as wide receiver 1. And guess what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb. And this gives me a nice little segue to talk about my projections, which are live on the fantasyfellowship.com. John, can you guess who my new wide receiver 1 is on my projections?
Well, it's not a fair game because you told me already. But my original guess was Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase is wide receiver 3, which means there's 2 more guesses left. And I did tell you about Puka Nacua. I told you Puka Nacua ranked very highly for me. Mm-hmm. But what I do is I go through each team individually, and then at the end, I collect the projections and see what it spits out. And it originally had Puka Nacua as my wide receiver 1.
Oh, you've got an updated version is what you're telling me.
So once I get the projections, finally into a program and I'm looking at them, I begin to make my tweaks. And my tweaks, I'm like, CeeDee Lamb is too low, man. These numbers don't look real. CeeDee Lamb, new wide receiver 1 in the Fantasy Fellowship projections. But you're on the clock. Take it away.
Yeah, it's this is not my favorite place to be. I much prefer where Hopscotch is on that 12-hole because I like multiple of these guys. I don't have a lot of Jeanty, so I think I'm gonna dance with the rookie RB. But I wish I was just 2 or 3 picks back. But that's okay. The world isn't perfect, and I'll make do.
How are you feeling about Amon-Ra St. Brown, who recently just went under some knee injuries?
I really like him. I don't know a single thing about the injury situation, so that obviously I need to kind of educate myself on a bit. But I'm not afraid to draft him at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I certainly, in a perfect world, I'd love to like get him at 10, and then like one of Brian Thomas, Nico, Drake London, Neighbors. Get a really fun receiver double stack, but. Like what Hopscotch has done is what we really like a lot, right?
I love
Eco back to back. That is so much fun.
But I love what Wheels did here with Neighbors and Drake London. I think I've done a lot of slow drafts. I have not done a lot of fast drafts this year, but I'm starting to like 10, 11, 12 because you're guaranteed one of Malik, Brian Thomas, Nico, or Drake London to fall to you. And if anybody falls from Puka, Jeanty, or Amon-Ra, or McCaffrey, like you're in a good spot to collect a lot of top-end talent. And you just took the A.J. Brown there. I'll let you talk about A.J. Brown because that's a pretty good value. Round 2, 17.
Yeah, no, it's kind of where his ADP is. I think he's, fantastic mid-round receiver 2, receiver 1, receiver 2 for a best ball build. I like him a lot. Not a lot needs to be said about a guy like him, right? He's good offense, fantastic player, just absolute physical specimen. I guess I am saying a little bit about him, but the superlatives come easy for AJ Brown.
Was there any interest in Devon Achane or Jonathan Taylor going RB?
Absolutely. I was actually really, really eyeballing Achane really hard, but with an RB round 1, I don't want to fall that far behind with receivers.
Right.
So that was kind of the thought process. What are you up to here?
Well, Aiden asked, "Is it National Tank Top Day on the Fellowship Channel?" It's National 90 Degrees in the Midwest Day, and probably for the next 6 days. So we are sweating and chilling at the same time. I'm tough on T. Higgins, man. I like T. Higgins. I'm going to draft T. Higgins here, but I'm not excited about the click. I find him to be he's always a good player when healthy, but it's always 3-4 games, shoulder, hamstring, something with T. Higgins, which a little bit. I do miss out on Bucky and Marvin Harrison here, which is a bit of a disappointment. But I really like this turn. Trey McBride, Devontae Adams, who's very high in my projections, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, Jackson Smith, and the Jigba. This is I think just doing these slow drafts and everything that I've done so far, you want to be on one of the ends, whether it's the first 1, 2, 3 spots. Because after JSN, round 3 gets really slim. I'm going to go ahead and take a tight end, man. It's drafters, season long, weeks 1 through 17. You need a tight end. And I think there's a chance Trey McBride, he only caught 2 touchdowns last year, and they were both in week 17 and 18.
Yeah.
If that man catches 7, 8, 9, 10 touchdowns this year, he's the clear tight end 1 for me. So I'll collect tight end 1, get a piece of that Cardinals offense.
Love that. Yeah, I definitely think he's the number 1 option in that offense. I mean, obviously Marvin Harrison can push for that spot, and maybe it is more of a 1A, 1B than I'm giving it credit to. Giving Marvin credit for, but it seems like McBride is the guy in that offense to me.
Round 3 is very tricky because I mentioned some of the names that we like. Everything's going to fizzle out by the time you're up to pick here. You're going to be lucky if Jacobs or Chase Brown fall to you. How are you going to navigate this pick 32? Obviously Jacobs, Brown, but you're going to be left with some of the other guys here. So what's give me through your thought process.
Yeah, I like running backs a lot in this round, and I'm not afraid to, maybe especially if you're not super jazzed up. It's fun. Sometimes it's just fun to pull the QB1 or whoever you think might be the QB1. So I'm really hoping for Josh Jacobs. I'd be really happy with Kyren Williams. But it's a little bit of a bye week double dip there with my top RBs. But typically, I find myself drafting a lot of Kyren Williams. Actually, I might go with Josh Allen or Lamar. Do you have a?
So for me,
it's to your QB projections for me.
There's a large tier break coming though at the running back position, like Breece Hall, Kieran, and then it goes down to James Cook, and it gets really dicey after that. So I'm kind of thinking that the running back is the value, whereas if you pass on Lamar here, you're going to get Josh Allen or Jayden Daniels maybe back to round 4.
Sure.
I'm with you. I hammer running back usually in round 3, whether it's Brown, Jacobs, Kieran, or I think Breece Hall is going to be fantastic this year paired with Justin Fields. So he excites me quite a bit. I'm not clicking a lot of Tyreek Hill. I'm not clicking a lot of Mike Evans.
I have 0 Tyreek. I don't have much Mike Evans, and that's almost always a bad choice.
Right.
But
well, every year it seems like we're ready to nail Mike Evans to the fucking cross, and he just keeps coming back. But I think Breece Hall at this point, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're getting Breece Hall at RB12.
Yeah,
that feels pretty good. And I know a lot of people are unexcited about the Jets, but you're going to put him with Justin Fields. That's going to be I think it's going to be quite the duo.
Yeah, it's going to be a run-heavy offense for sure.
And more specifically, for you to get him as your RB2, that's kind of a cheat code. You're going to have the best RB2. Well, this guy right here.
Yeah, Torstar has. Yeah,
that's a different anything. Yeah, Aiden's onto it. He says he likes half start, but Kyle knows how to win my heart in the late round. So we're gonna have to hit some of Aiden's guys late. But round 4 shaping up here. So you missed the QB run, And now we're
I'm fine with it. I love nothing. Nothing gets me more excited than waiting for QBs and then just grabbing 7 of them in the middle rounds. Maybe not that many, but
I mean, this is an important spot though. Like, which receiver sticks out more than the other two?
I like DJ Moore a lot here. That doesn't sound like a good sound.
I'm excited about the Chicago offense, but it's just the last couple of years, man. It's always like we don't know what we're getting. You missed on DJ Moore here. Lately, I've kind of switched my mindset. I like DJ Moore, but I kind of like Rome Odunze at cost a little bit better. But this floor is yours, man. Take it away here. This is a hot spot here. You got Jalen Hurts or receivers.
You know what? I'm zagging. I'm doing what I always do. I'm gonna do a little best ball strategery. Stack your receiver 1 with their QB.
You can't argue with that. You get to me, there's a clear top 4 quarterbacks. After that, QB 5, whether it's Mahomes or Burrow or one of the other guys. I think that it's a clear tier break. So I'm not gonna be mad about taking Jalen.
I think Burrow is going to work his way. He doesn't have quite the rushing, but I think he's going to work his way into that top group this year. He's got the weapons. He's just got the weapons.
He's got the weapons. I'm actually set up for Joe Burrow. Maybe 50. It's a little bit of a reach, but I'm set up for it. I don't have
or do you snipe him at 47 because of the Jamar Chase owner?
I mean, for me to reach on Joe, like, I'm a CeeDee Lamb owner too, though, so I have to factor that. Like, I'm fine collecting Dak later if I need to. I'm not going to reach 10 spots on Burrow when I know I can get Dak later. But you can definitely tell, no running backs have been selected in the 4th round here. What are your thoughts on James Cook and this little holdout that we got going on?
Love James Cook. Love James Cook a lot, actually. Oh, he's got a little holdout going. See, that's some of the news is not something I'm paying attention to. Okay. If I know anything about James Cook, I feel like it's going to be resolved. I feel like he's just a football player and he wants to be part of that offense. But running backs always get the short end of the stick these days, don't they? So he might I don't know. He might be kind of thinking like, this is my livelihood here. This is my last chance at a little bit of a payday. So I don't know. I really don't know. Do you have any thoughts on it? Do you know anything interesting about it?
I almost clicked on him. The dude ran hot on touchdowns last year. Those are coming down massively in 2025. And I went with Omarion Hampton, who I'm excited about the Chargers offense again, man. I think they were above and beyond expectations last year in the first year with Harbaugh. They hand-selected a first-round running back in Omarion Hampton. When's the last time a first-round running back's been a bad click? I don't know. But for me to get my starting running back round 4, I have Omarion Hampton as like a top 12 running back. And guess what? This paid off, dude. I can get James Cook here at pick 50.
Yeah, do it.
52. Whereas, I love Travis Hunter's potential. I like George Pickens, Zay Flowers, Calvin Ridley. But give me James Cook because I think at the end of the day, you're going to feel good about James Cook being your RB2. They're going to figure out some kind of contract extension, or maybe he has to go back. Maybe he has to just play week 1 and eat it and show him that he's a top 10, running back. But I don't know how to read it. I'm probably going to be looking at Ray Davis later just to kind of hedge my bet. I think hedging your bets in drafters because it's a season-long perspective, I'm open to that.
Ray Davis is a fun handcuff too. It's not like he's not a jag. He's not just another guy. He's a legitimate, football player. He can actually put up some fantasy points.
Yeah. And there was one game last year where I remember James Cook being out and Ray Davis just caught like a 50-yard catch. He was just mauling dudes. But we're entering round 5. This is kind of a wide receiver round for me. You're on the deck here. What's going through your mind here?
Yeah, I just need receivers. I think I'll probably just stick to the board here. I like Calvin Ridley. I like Jalen Waddle. Really hoping. I don't want to tip my hand. I guess I'm hoping for a receiver on the way back, and it looks like Hopscotch probably needs anything but a receiver right now. So I'll say it. I'm hoping for Chris Godwin on the way back.
So we got 11 people in the chat room right now. Hey, like the video, subscribe if you guys are new. But John, tell the good people. We have 12 people in here now.
All right.
Tell people, why'd you click Calvin Ridley there? And I'm going to show my rankings on Calvin Ridley because I'm actually kind of bullish on Calvin Ridley too.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just kind of looking at that board, Ridley has a lot of fun upside. I think you can say the same thing about any of these guys, Samuel, Jennings, Waddle, but I just feel like Ridley's a little more, I don't know. I like his upside as a player. I don't necessarily love the Tennessee offense. I don't know enough about Cam Ward to make a claim that he's going to really be able to facilitate, good stats for Ridley, but it's really just kind of trust in Ridley over these other guys.
So I have my projections up on the screen right now. I have Calvin Ridley at wide receiver 17, ahead of Marvin Harrison, Ted McMillan, McLaurin, Jamison Williams, and T. Higgins, who I took in the second round. So I'm kind of all the way in on Calvin Ridley. I think round 5 is kind of silly to get Cam Ward's number 1 wide receiver. Ridley actually played very, very well last year, and I think there's a chance where we can actually see another year. And I don't care about Ridley dropping any touchdowns, man. Like, this is a massive upgrade at quarterback compared to what he played with last year.
Sure.
I just want to see what Calvin Ridley finished last season at, because Tennessee, they're not going to win,
but
they're not going to win a lot of games, but they're going to score.
Oh, sniped! No.
Wide receiver 27 last year for Ridley. Let us know what you're thinking here. Sniper Godwin? You wanted the Godwin?
Oh, always. I do like Odunze.
I'm big on Odunze, but I just want to ask you real quick if you can kind of scan the field. Let me know what you think is the worst pick so far of the draft. I got Joe Burrow falling to me.
I'm a little concerned with Rashee Rice at 21.
Okay.
I love Rashee Rice, but a second round bothers me with him. Bucky Irvin, he's second round fringe there at the turn, but I think second, maybe even third round for Bucky Irvin feels a little early. Like, I like Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Breece Hall, Kieran Williams, and even Hampton.
Yeah,
and honestly, I like even Cook, or at least I can make an argument personally for Cook over Irvin. I know that's probably not remotely close to consensus, but like every single guy who went after him in that third round, I would take over Bucky. So it's like that one hurts me a little bit. The ADP is pretty reasonable there. I don't know. Those would be my 2 votes. What about you? What do you say?
Well, someone just took Joe Burrow, a naked Joe Burrow here with JJ, Garrett Wilson, Devontae, and DK Metcalf. I'm pretty sure he only took him because he fell. That would have been sweet. At this point of the draft, I'm just going to collect the best receiver available, and that's Jordan Addison to me. But worst pick so far, I'm also in agreement with Rashee Rice. I'm nervous about him having that short area explosiveness, especially round 2. Bucky Irving looks to me more of like I'd rather have him be my RB2 on my roster.
Yeah.
So I like both of those calls. Otherwise, like the worst pick so far, I don't love the Travion Henderson pick in round 6 at pick 63. I still think Ramondre Stevenson scoring more points there in New England. So I'm absolutely off Travion Henderson right now at these prices. I think it's way too high. And it's honestly, it's like, to me, that's like, I said, what's your worst pick? Like, this is a terrible pick to me. Round 6, Travion Henderson's not even in my realm of possibilities. But I will take Khalil Shakir in a full PPR format all day, round 7. I think that's fantastic. If I didn't have a tight end, I would have taken Sam Laporta there round 6. But I'm very happy to collect Addison and Shakir to rotate as my 3 and 4 wide receivers.
Yeah, nice.
But we're in kind of like this ugly point now where I start to shift towards some of the running backs, like some of the older backs even too, like Pollard and Aaron Jones excite me. What are you looking at here as you approach pick number 80?
Yeah, I really like Jayden Reed, honestly, in the 7th round. He might be one of the guys I have the most exposure on.
Stephon Diggs is also growing on me in the 7th round.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around Diggs. I have 0 Cooper Kupp shares. He seems kind of exciting.
What are your thoughts on Quinshon Judkins here? As you have a good opportunity to draft him, I'll be curious if you click.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning Pollard. I don't know if I'm going to have a little too much Tennessee exposure, but maybe that's not as bad as it.
Slapping Cam Ward on this bitch, dude.
You like Pollard a little bit?
I like Pacheco.
Yeah, I like Pacheco more.
Boom.
I need to. Well, no, I like Pacheco a lot, and I have him in some dynasty situations that we're in together, and I like that Kansas City off. When it comes to like tiebreakers with running backs, I'm always taking like the offense, right? And so that's my problem with Judkins. The vision of that Cleveland offense. He could be amazing, and I think he's probably a great, going to have a fun NFL career. He's got a lot of upside, but like this year could be, I don't know. I feel like it could be not impressive. I'll put it that way.
I'm agreeing with Quinshon Judkins. I think he's going to be between 800 and 900, rushing yards, maybe 5-7 touchdowns. I just don't see the receiving profile there. To me, Aaron Jones is also very interesting because if he stays healthy, it's going to be the nut pick. But Pacheco, before he got injured last year, he was looking like a top 5, top 10 running back. Just couldn't quite get into form at the end of the year. But buying a Chiefs running back has always been a good idea. And you can kind of see here, like round 7 turned into running back round. And I'll let you make the next pick here. Let me know what you're thinking.
Well, I have 0 Cup. Is there any? What's your Cup thoughts?
I mean, Cup's going to be your wide receiver 4, like as your flex. That sounds it's easy. It's either Pacheco or Cup as your flex. That sounds pretty good to me. Ayuk's injured. Pittman's got a weird quarterback situation. If you need a receiver here, it's a pretty good drop off after Cup. So like,
I've been taking a lot of Ayuk. I know he is injured. That's factual. Everybody's looking good in camp, but I have heard he's running around and looking good, and even he might not necessarily be totally ready week 1, but he's definitely on schedule or ahead of schedule. Yeah. He got hurt, what was it, week 5, week 6 last season, so he's had almost a year to recover. Season start. So I really like Ayuk in general, but switch it up and get a little Cooper Kupp. I think in round 8, Cooper Kupp becomes really interesting and fun to me.
I think we've officially hit a wide receiver cliff here. We're talking Trey Harris, Ibuka, Higgins, Coleman, Rashid Shaheed, Bateman. You want at least 3 or 4 receivers through this part of the rounds, and we both have 4 receivers exactly. So I'm feeling good about that market. The running backs are very juicy to me because I mentioned Aaron Jones, and we love Aaron Jones. We're Green Bay fans. Love Aaron Jones. John, what's the over-under on games that Aaron Jones starts and finishes this year?
I think 10 sounds like or 10.5, 9.5, 10.5. I think that sounds really reasonable. When I do attempt to take Aaron Jones, I try really hard to handcuff him. You basically, the way ADPs are working right now, you almost have to do it, one round, like round 7 Jones, round 8 Mason. But yeah, it's hard to see Aaron Jones playing a full slate of games.
Yeah, I would 100% agree, and I just took Jaylen Warren.
I was kind of hoping he'd get back to me, but that was a pipe dream. What are you doing here?
Jordan Mason and Jaylen Warren. Kyler Murray's off the board here. I don't have any stacks quite available yet. I am lining up Dak Prescott late, who at 116 kind of could fall to me at 119. So to me, this is kind of like a wild card pick. I could take one of the tight ends here, and why not take Travis Kelce as my tight end too? Like, why not?
There you go. It's just $20.
Yeah, it's just $20. But Travis Kelce, RB or tight end 2. Not too many teams are going to have him as your tight end 2. He's going to flex for me. He's going to be my tight end 1 some weeks.
I feel like there are less tight ends this year. Like, I like to wait on tight ends. I think you know that about me. And unless I get a bug up my ass about like McBride or something, and I'm like, go after him. But like overall, I typically wait for tight ends. And I'm noticing when I do what I typically do, and I get to the end of the draft, it's really scary with tight ends. So I wonder if it's a little bit of like you're almost kind of blocking the rest of the group from gathering a quality backup tight end when you take Kelce like that.
For me, I took the best player available. What running back here excites you besides, these guys are all handcuffed?
I actually really, specifically in the Chargers offense, I really see a fun vision, and I've done this many times. I do a Najee Harris, Amari Hampton stack.
Okay.
But I understand that's not necessarily for everybody. I just think in that offense, that's actually a really fun thing to do. But
all the touchdowns, which is going to probably be 10 to 12.
And I kind of like scatter, bro, honestly. But yeah, you're right. This is not exactly a fun place to be. I kind of honestly, if you wait one more round, I kind of like. I don't hate Ramondre, honestly. But no, this is not a fun place to be if you need a.
So what sticks out to you here, Evan Ingram? Are you taking Brock Purdy for anything, or?
This isn't my favorite place to be. I already got a QB, so I'm kind of holding. I don't love Evan Ingram. I think I'm going Coleman. I think I'm going to take an upside young receiver in an offense. I mean, you mentioned the potential James Cook holdout. Obviously, that's a different position, but James Cook is the best non-Josh Allen person on that offense, and if he does randomly miss games, someone's going to have to step up. I like Coleman as a player, so I like his talent.
I got 2 questions for you. Do you like Khalil Shakir or Jayden Reed better in Dynasty from our guy Hopscotch Daisy?
I
think I'm taking Shakir for the next 1 to 2 years.
Jayden Reed?
Jayden Reed or Khalil Shakir? I think
that's just. I think that's really disrespectful to Jayden Reed. I like Jayden. I don't know if I'm insane, but I just think Jayden Reed is so young. He's so talented. Jayden Reed is younger than Khalil Shakir, if I knew anything.
Probably by a year or two. But I don't know if there's any.
I think he's 2 tiers above as a player, and then if he's a year younger, I mean, for me it's a no-brainer. Kyle, you might have a different perspective.
I agree with you. I think the more talented player is Jayden Reed, but based on the landscape of the current situations, give me Khalil Shakir for the next 2 years, who is going to lead the team in receptions and targets and yards for the next 1 to 2 years. They gave him a contract already. Jayden Reed, yeah, he's got all the talent in the world, but they just drafted a number 1 wide receiver in the first round, potentially. You still have Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, and they tend to scatter the ball around, which is what Josh Allen's doing. But I think I take the Khalil Shakir. Give me my 12 fantasy points per game with Khalil Shakir, but it's very close. I think both guys are going to probably be around wide receiver 30 for me. You got 10 seconds. You take Jonnu Smith. Sell the people on Jonnu Smith.
I mean, if you paid any attention to Jonnu last year, or even better, if you owned him in any capacity in fantasy or best ball, you are very, very satisfied. I see a very confusing offense in terms of who's going to be on the field. A-Chain played a lot of games last year, but he's an injury risk. Obviously, the Tyreek Hill situation is a big question mark. And then Jalen Waddle obviously has some injury history too. So I think, when that offense is firing on all cylinders, Jonnu Smith is awesome. And when that offense is missing pieces, Jonnu Smith is essential. So he's as a round 10 tight end, I get pretty excited about him.
I think Jonnu Smith's one of the more underrated tight ends in just the NFL in general. But our good friend Aiden is asking, does Hef have tight end ball knowledge?
Probably not. Technically, I feel like I understand the position from a fantasy perspective a little bit. That's why I like to wait on it. I feel like it's an easier position to gather useful best ball and fantasy players in later rounds. But I don't know. I wouldn't call it my area of expertise.
So knowing Aiden, I do mock drafts with him. We talk frequently. He wants me to take Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland here just because I think both rookie tight ends are in very good situations. But just with my roster, McBride and Kelsey, I don't need a rookie tight end. I'm a little interested in Jared Goff here, interested in Herbert and James McCarthy. I have Jordan Addison, so that kind of excites me a little bit. Yeah. But let's talk about the Dallas running back situation. Javonte Williams signed immediately in free agency with Dallas. They did not draft one until round 4 or 5 with Jayden Blue. Is Javonte Williams the value here? Round 11, I might be getting the guy that touches the ball the most in the Dallas backfield.
If he stays upright, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
I'm starting to come back around because I was a big Jayden Blue guy when he got drafted by Dallas. But I think if Javonte Williams, he's a couple of years removed from his bad knee injury, if he just gets a little bit better and if he's able to get the most touches in the Dallas offense, we saw what Rico Dowdle did in this offense last year. If Dallas running back 1 is an 11th round, I want that player. It doesn't even matter who the name is.
And so you missed an opportunity to do one of my favorite things. When you invest in Amari Hampton, I love, and I've already mentioned Najee, but then you have the opportunity to add Herbert. And I think that is such a fun thing to do. You know they're going to run. You know their offense is going to be better. I love the concept of like Herbert and the 2 running backs at the Chargers. But obviously, you know, you've already got a QB. You're not necessarily, you know, looking to stack in an insane way like I do.
It did cross my mind. I had Herbert and McCarthy potential stacks with Hampton and Addison. It did cross my mind, but man, like if Lawrence or Stroud or I kind of like Penix deep too. Like Penix is super cheap. Tua is dirt. Like you can get Tua on the turn here to pair with Jonnu Smith and get some big spike weeks, but you take.
I don't like Tua. I'm a little. He makes me nervous. It will be a fun stack. You're not wrong at all.
But I think you can kind of tell the red being picked round 10 and 11. There's a lot of value at quarterback here. So I think we both took a quarterback in this range. We both feel very good about. You got T-Law, QB2, who, if I show you where I have this mother liquor projected, Trevor Lawrence is one of the best values. I have him at QB8 in my projections. Easily one of the best values, I think, in all formats right now.
I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. I was really hoping for Herbert there, but yeah, you know, either way, got a naked stat or a naked QB there.
Just why don't people like Ramondre Stevenson, man?
I'm hoping he comes back. Oh shoot, I was hoping he came back to me.
That is so. We talked about the worst pick of the draft. That might be the best pick of the draft so far. I've been hesitant to pump Ramondre Stevenson, but I think it's at this point where you're drafting his backup in round 6. And you can get the starting running back with Drake May in round 12. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I was really hoping he'd fall to me here.
I don't understand. But who's sticking out here for you? Are you looking at? It's starting to look like running backs are starting to turn the corner here, and we can get some backup bench guys.
Yeah, I'm looking at Ray Davis, Hollywood, Goriendo, Trey Benson, even a little bit.
Yeah. I like Tootin since you got Trevor Lawrence a little bit here. I think he's a pass catching potential.
You like Tootin a little bit?
I think it just takes one injury to either ETN or.
Sorry, I had to go with my gut. Sorry.
I was trying to get you to not
because they have Tank Bigsby too. You can't forget the Tank.
But you have
the Tank is a tank, Kyle. That man is never going to miss a game.
You have double the opportunity. All it takes is one opportunity for an injury to get Tootin into the top 2, and it doesn't matter at that point because I think Tootin's a better runner than ETN. And if Bigsby were to stay healthy and it's Tootin catching passes, that's still a win. So Tootin has a lot to gain. If anyone misses time there, Tootin becomes probably like a RB2 flex situation.
No bounce back for Etienne.
I think Etienne is. I never thought he was a good running back. I never liked him. At one point, I took Trey Sermon over Etienne in a dynasty league. So that should be all it says about what I think about Etienne. But at this point, I think Liam Cohen takes a back. I'm going to pay attention to that. But we're on the board here, man.
What do you got?
Penix on this team. I don't think this guy's going to take 2 quarterbacks here. Marquise Brown sticks out as wide receiver 3 or 4 for the Chiefs. And there's kind of a steep drop-off after that. So I'm just going to collect Kelsey, so it's not a quarterback stack with Mahomes, but I have a little KC thing going where it's either Hollywood catches a touchdown or Kelsey catches a touchdown, and I'm just kind of figuring some Chiefs action.
It's a fun offense to invest in.
Yeah, that feels good. And I'm going to go naked Michael Penix Jr. here, who I'm pretty.
Ooh.
I don't need it. Maybe I get Kyle Pitts later. Kyle Pitts is still on the board, 163. That lines up with my 167. Kyle Pitts, tight end 3 sounds fine to me.
Spicy.
But yeah, I think we're all at the point here. I'm just going to recap your team. You got Jalen Hurts, QB1, T-Law, Trevor Lawrence, QB2. Running backs look pretty good. Jeanty, Breece Hall, Pacheco, and Ray Davis. Receivers are A.J. Brown, Ridley, Odunze, Kupp, and Keon Coleman. And then Jonnu Smith here. So your starting unit's kind of filled out. What sticks out for you here as we're deep in round 13?
Yeah, I'm not sure anything actually sticks out. I like Goriendo, Benson.
I like the running backs.
Yeah, I don't hate I honestly like Bigsby. Josh Palmer, I've always found him to be an interesting player. I don't necessarily love him, but it's like if I have Keon Coleman and Josh Palmer in an offense where obviously you're very high on Khalil Shakir. I don't have a problem with Khalil Shakir, but I don't think he's a true receiver 1. So I just feel like there's room. And I was obsessed with Dalton Kincaid last year, and he burned me so bad. So now I'm totally off the wagon there. So like somebody has to catch balls over there.
So
I feel like in a best ball scenario, I feel like these secondary and tertiary Buffalo receivers could be kind of fun. And I've talked myself into it. I don't necessarily love it. Oop, I got it.
So
stack, baby. Stack, baby. Stack.
Woo, okay.
Strange stack.
Jayden is Aiden in the chat room. He's a big Jacksonville guy. He probably is. He took his pants off when he took Brenton Strange with Trevor Lawrence. But I'll tell you what, man. I might be Josh Palmer's biggest fan. I think he's a good receiver.
I'm hoping. I know he always performs really admirably with the Chargers, and nobody thought he was anything. I think I'm talking myself into a little mini Keon Coleman.
And I think that's a great idea because you're hoping for 10 to 12 touchdowns between the pair. And in a best ball format, I think that makes sense. And if he comes back to you, which would be 161, he's 164 ADP. That would be a really good move, I think. And as much as I love Josh Palmer. I think he reminds me of Romeo Doubs, he's a good receiver. He's not going to be a stud, but he's always going to be in the right place. He's going to make plays when you need him. And I think he's the clear number 2 receiver in this offense for Buffalo.
And you look at the receivers remaining, and it's a scary list.
John, if you were to flip Keon Coleman and Josh Palmer's ADP, I wouldn't care. Like I think Josh Palmer is that good where he could be a 9th round.
I agree with you.
So I think that's a really good way to think about it. But it's definitely shifting towards running backs here. Trey Benson takes one James Conner blown tire for him to be a running back too. I think Eckler in a full PPR format makes sense.
No.
Anytime Tank Bigsby scores a touchdown, he's starting in your best ball lineup. I think Tyler Algier too. Anything happens to Bijan, you got a guy here. Roshan Johnson, why can't he lead the Bears in rushing touchdowns? So running back looks pretty good here to me. But Kyle Pitts is falling as well as Jake Ferguson. I'm looking at stacking some QBs with some tight ends. You got 20 seconds though, John. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I got bit in the ass on Josh Palmer. I really, really like Tank Bigsby, but to your point, there's a lot of running backs in that room all of a sudden, and they're all kind of, at least right now, in my head, probably pretty similar in terms of, skill or capability. So I think I'm going with the guy that I think has you said it well, one blown tire for James Conner, a player who has blown tires in his career. And Trey Benson is all of a sudden in a very, very fantastic situation with absolutely, as far as I'm aware, not really anyone actually notably behind him. So just a true workhorse scenario if James Conner were to go down. And the Cardinals seem very hell-bent on, making their RB1 a workhorse.
Yeah, it's a very fruitful spot. Kyler Murray likes to dump it off, and Trey Benson, he looked good last year. Just some of his rushing numbers look pretty good. I don't know.
Ray Davis and Trey Benson are some of my favorite handcuffs with upside, including Braylon Allen. Who just went. So I think I'm happy to have both of those guys. Would love to get them maybe a round later, but it's just not the way the ADP shakes out.
No interest in making sure you get Breece Hall with Braylon Allen?
A little bit. I probably could have thought that through a little better, but yeah, honestly, in hindsight, that's already looking like a mistake. Well, diversification isn't bad either.
I just punted on my tight end 3 because I get Ferguson or Pitts back to me that will stack with my QB, and I just took Jalen Wright, who I think is the clear running back 2 in Miami. Very, very good speed guy. He showed some nice things last year. And if anything happens to Devon Achane, I think everyone's going to be scrambling to the waiver wires for Jalen Wright.
Yeah, he's a fun. Yeah, I mean, this entire round, essentially. Trey Benson, Bigsby, Eckler, Allen, Wright, those guys especially. Those are all like some of my favorite handcuffs with really fun upside.
We've done a good job at falling into the pockets, I think, so far, whether it's the correct idea to get receiver, quarterback, whatever it is at that time. We kind of ended the handcuff run here, and now you're just looking at a bunch of sickness at running back. I think this is all just kind of gross. Like, you're all hoping, you're like crossing your fingers and like saying Hail Marys that, I hope this guy scores 2 times for me this year.
Yes, I think
so now we're going to shift probably towards receivers, QB3s. Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold just go. I'm going to be lucky if if Aaron Rodgers and Anthony Richardson or even Russell Wilson fall back to me. But I'm curious here. At pick 176, what's catching your eye?
Yeah, I think I do like Roschon a lot as a one, and really Algier. Honestly, I think those guys fit into that group that we were just talking about. But I think I'm going to pivot into some receivers. Cade Otton also looks kind of fun, but I think I want Pop Douglas here. I really like Demario Douglas. He's not the sexiest name, but I think he's someone I just believe in the talent, and I feel like he's got some fun things in store for him this season. And I think Drake May is going to really improve, and I think that's going to it might not be a great offense, but if that becomes like a league average offense, I think Pop Douglas has a lot of upside.
Demario Douglas was one of my favorite. If you had to ask me who my favorite sleeper in the teens is, it's Demario Douglas. Do you know who the offensive coordinator is in New England?
I don't actually offhand.
It's Josh McDaniels, man. He's back.
You know what? That was going to be my guess. I thought it was such a stupid guess. That's funny.
He's back, and Josh McDaniels slot receivers just produce. And early OTAs are like, hey, Demario Douglas he's catching the most passes in training camp. So maybe up for my 70 catches, and you basically just got discount Khalil Shakir here, which feels pretty good.
Well, listen, I think he's actually a better player than Khalil Shakir. I'm going to go that far, but in a worse, offensive situation for receivers. He's fast, dude. I mean, with a nickname like Pop, you have to kind of pop. And he, in my opinion, pops off the screen. I'm kind of stitching together a little Jaguars stack here. Things go right.
I'm embarrassed to admit this, but Diami Brown's one of my most drafted players through best balls this year.
Tell me, is that because of the players behind Hunter and BTJ? Like, who is their receiver 3?
I think Diami Brown plays more snaps than Travis Hunter this year. I think Diami Brown
Hunter will play a little defense for sure, right?
Hunter's going to play defense, but I think Diami Brown's a big body target. They're going to like him in run situations. They're not going to have Travis Hunter out there for every snap. He's going to be like in obvious passing situations, and when he's on the field, he's getting targets. But give me Diami Brown, who's going to be the number 2 receiver in terms of snaps. And honestly, if he gets 80 targets, 90 targets in this offense and catches 50, 60 balls, I'm not going to be surprised. And we saw him with Jayden Daniels last year. Like, he looked good in spurts.
At the end of the season, he really exploded. Yeah.
If you give him the opportunity to just run all these routes in a game and get your 3, 4, 5 targets, best ball is perfect for Dyami Brown.
For sure. Yeah, kind of a little, with him and Strange and Lawrence, a little backwater swamp jack stack.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
QBs are shit. I need receiver, and hey, if Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback, fine. Give me Alec Pierce, who catches big plays, touchdowns. He was their number 1 receiver last year. So,
QB's dried up fast, man.
Yeah.
Faster than usual, I feel like. Rodgers, I see as like a round 19. Well, I guess maybe now that he's officially on a team. I haven't been doing as much since his news with the Steelers was official, but so I'm sure that has a big part to play there.
But we're at the point now. I'm looking at the receivers here. Jalen Noel excites me. Not interested in DeAndre Hopkins. I think Darius Slayton, Andre Yoshivas, Calvin Austin.
Yosh. I love the Yosh.
Those guys have some interest for me.
What about Cokehead? What do you think about Jalen Coker? A little less sexy for you.
I tell you, I'm gonna call it quits, man. I'm just gonna take my QB3, Tyler Shaw.
All right, wrap it up, everybody. We're going home.
He's gonna play the most games for the New Orleans Saints at quarterback this year. QB3, if he's able to score for me 3 or 4 times, I'm happy with that. We don't know what's going on with A. Rich, Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco. None of these guys are probably – maybe Russell Wilson starts 10 games. But give me the over on 10 games started for Tyler Shuck. QB3.
How do we say the last name?
It's Shuck. I'm blown away by it, but it's Shuck.
That's crazy to me too.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I don't get it, but I'm officially done at quarterback and tight end, which is not normally something that I do because I love Aiden. I love late round tight ends. There's Dalton Schultz, Jatavian Sanders. I like Tyler Conklin. I like Noah Gray. I like a lot of guys deep down here, but I'm happy to be done. John, as we pivot here into the 17th round, what's catching your eye? Because it's pretty gross.
Yeah, I like Jalen Noel. I like Marshawn Lloyd. Like is relative, right? Like the way I like a guy in round 7 is not how I like a guy in round 17.
You're interested.
Yes. I like Jalen Coker a little bit. I like Dontavian Wicks a little bit. I wish Dontavian Wicks was a little further down the. I like Blake Corum a little bit. Sure. I don't know if I could use another round 8 or week 8 running back, but. You know what? I like Jalen Noel. Feels like he's fall. I mean, does a guy really fall at this point in the draft? But I like Jalen Noel. So I'm going to go with Noel. I didn't necessarily stack receivers super aggressively to start this draft. So I've kind of been I've been playing a little catch up throughout. I've got 8 receivers now. I think my receiving room is, I like it. I like it a little bit. I don't love it. The top end could be a little topper, but you know what? I think there's some fun pieces in here. There's some pieces I really like. This is my first Cooper Kupp share, and I've never been more excited about anything in my life. So I think I really, with A.J. Brown in round 2 and whatever, I think and with 2 running backs and then a quarterback in the top 4 rounds, I think I survived in terms of building a competitive receiver room. So
I think Cooper Kupp wide receiver 4 sounds perfect. And then, dude, it's not a John Hefferson guest special unless we talk about Christian Kirk. So Jalen Noel, Christian Kirk, how do you see wide receiver 2 battling out there for Houston?
I love Kirk. The secret is not a secret, but I'm out on him now. It's not him, it's me. I love the guy so much. I have a question for you. What are your thoughts on – I've always just thought he's dead every year, but Raheem Mostert, is he a reasonable handcuff for Jeanty, or should I just not?
I think at that point, your best ball season hinges on Jeanty. If Jeanty's out, I don't know if Raheem Mostert's going to pull that Jeanty role. So, for me, I wouldn't do it. I'd rather.
I'm going all fun handcuffs. I've got Davis, Benson, Corum as my last 3 running backs. Well, a few too many week 8 bye weeks, but you know what? At this point, who cares?
Yeah, I think you did the right move there. I don't like to necessarily handcuff my running back all the time, especially in a best ball format. I think it makes sense in like a 1A, 1B situation, but we know Jeanty's going to be the guy. If Jeanty busts a tire, like
it's over.
At that point, I don't think Raheem Mostert's maybe even 50% of what Jeanty can do. They're going to split the ball up and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. I like the Corum pick here. We're starting to see some receivers take note. Your Jalen Coker is still available, and our guy Aiden says Jackson Dart plays. He's interesting this late. I kind of like Anthony Richardson still. I don't think it's crazy for Anthony Richardson to be the quarterback week 1 yet.
I think Anthony Richardson is a really fun best ball piece.
I mean, at this point, he's free. And I don't ever take 4 quarterbacks, but I'm going to do it. I got 2 more picks here for wide receiver, and then my roster's full. I feel good about my running backs. Hampton, Cook, Warren, Williams, and Jalen Wright. It feels a little light, but if everything when I draft on drafters, I want to assume that every pick I make is going to be the correct pick, and everything's going to be like the top end selection. So those 5 running backs, I would like to think that they get me to where I need to go. And we're just going to finish off with some wide receivers here. Where do you see Amari Cooper signing? I think Amari Cooper is an interesting value here. He's only like 30 years old.
We had a fun dynasty trade with Amari Cooper a few years back. So I'm very pro Cooper, but I am a little concerned he might be washed. He is not ridiculously old. You are correct. I think he's 30, 31 max. Not necessarily a death sentence for a receiver, but I think he's a little washed. I think he's a little over the hill. He aged a little faster than maybe some of these other, fringe star receivers might age.
Cleveland will change a man. We saw him out last year, and I don't think he was ever healthy with Buffalo. They didn't run him a lot of snaps and routes and things like that. But if I say, hey, Amari Cooper signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's moving up in ADP, yes?
Yes. No, I mean, Amari Cooper in the 19th round, you can't – there's no, negative criticism there.
Right. So I'm at this point, we're shooting for upside here. You grab Jackson Dart, which I think in my projections, I have him starting the last 3 or 4 games. He's your QB3. Do you have any Giants on the team yet? You're going to maybe grab someone to
just a naked dart. Just a true dart throw. I was kind of thinking about maybe going just 2 QB, but I like that. I like to have that depth, and I definitely think dart's starting after the bye week.
Yeah.
In my situation with my buys, week 8, week 9, have to be super hopeful that he might be able to fill in for one of those. But
the Giants are likely 3-7, 2-8. They're looking at a really tough start to the year.
I need a little support here. Who's your favorite tight end? And tell me why it's Taysom Hill. No, but I'm not obsessed with my tight end situation, so I really need the best option here.
The best option is probably Cole Kmet. I'm not going to tell you no on Taysom Hill, but
has the Taysom Hill ship sailed?
It's sailing.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's officially sailed, but it's sailing. Otherwise, no Charger. Do you have Justin Herbert on this team, dude?
No, I wanted him.
Okay. There's no tight end that's been drafted from the Chargers yet, whether it's Will Dissly or Rondé Gadsden. Gadsden's been lighting it up at OTAs.
Conklin went. I got 10 seconds.
He's Cole not. Kmet. I'm probably taking Cole Kmet just because I know he's good, or one of the Charger tight ends.
I think I'm going Kmet.
I see the Lions running a lot of 2 tight end stuff this year. Can you name the Bears' number 3 wide receiver?
I would. No, I cannot.
It's Luther Burden. who
Oh, Burden. Well, yeah. He's what, third round pick? He should be a player.
what we're getting with him. I think the Bears are going to run a lot of 2 tight end stuff this year, and they're going to mix. I think their number 3 target will be a lot of Cole Kmet or Burden. They're going to kind of ping pong games.
Yeah.
And hey, if Loveland doesn't take charge or if he gets hurt, I know Cole Kmet's good. I know Ben Johnson's offense uses the tight end. I still like Cole Kmet, especially around 20.
Yeah, for sure. I think in that Ben Johnson offense, I don't know. Sometimes with those rookie tight ends, they don't, they're awesome, but sometimes it takes them a little bit of time. Cole Kmet is a good example of that, right? Like, he was supposed to be really insane and impressive coming out of Notre Dame, and he wasn't great year 1. Year 2, he was a solid NFL player.
Can I sell you on Devon Vele or Deontay Johnson?
You might go right to voicemail, but go ahead.
So Devon Vele lit up OTAs. He's the clear wide receiver 2 ahead of the guy they drafted, ahead of Troy Franklin, and he's developing as a route runner.
Do it. You got 1 second.
Deontay Johnson, man. I still think Deontay's talented. And guess what? He's playing
my gosh. Are we talking about the old Steeler?
He's playing with Deontay. He's playing with Joe Flacco. And Joe Flacco, man, 6, 7, 8 yards, that's his fucking bread and butter.
You're just old man drafting here. Amari Cooper and Deontay Johnson at the end. You're just like, well, who are the oldest receivers available?
I get 4 to 5 weeks out of those 2 guys. Those are good picks. So that's why I kind of like
Deontay's not that old, is he? He's like what?
27, 28. He's in his prime. We're going to get prime Deontay Johnson here, the Cleveland freaking Browns. And he's going to win me this best ball $20 main event. I'll recap my team real quick here. I never draft 4 quarterbacks unless it's a live stream. So Dak Prescott, Michael Penix, Tyler Shuck, Anthony freaking Richardson. What the hell? Running backs are light, but it's Omarion Hampton, who's I have as a top 12 running back. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes. James Cook's going to sign his 2-year, $35 million deal and be happy. Jaylen Warren, Javonte Williams, Jalen Wright. I like this group. One of them will be a surprise breakout, hopefully, whether it's Javonte, Jalen Wright, or Jalen Warren.
I'm not obsessed with Javonte, but otherwise, those are a lot of running backs that I'm targeting constantly.
I got Javonte primarily because it's Dak stack, so I'm like sure.
No, for sure.
Javonte's always been good at catching passes, and Dak can hit the running backs. We saw Rico Dowdle have success last year.
Absolutely.
If Javonte's a top 24 running back this year, this team's going to do very well.
He's getting drafted outside the top 35.
Yeah. And receivers, I got CeeDee Lamb and T. Higgins to lock it down. And then I just need Addison, Shakir, Hollywood Brown to figure it out. One of those guys, maybe 2 of those guys every week over 10 points. And then some deep sleepers. Alec Pierce, Amari Cooper, who does not have a team, and Deontay Johnson, who does not have a passion for the game currently.
Honestly, Hollywood Brown, Alec Pierce, Amari Cooper, and Deontay Johnson were all built in a lab for best ball.
If one of those guys scores for me every week, I'm very happy. And then I know I'm getting tight end points. McBride, Kelsey, Pitts. If I told you May of 2024, hey, my tight ends are McBride, Kelsey, and Pitts. John, you're shitting your pants.
Yes. Pitts is 1 year away from 1 year away, man. No, but it's a fun tight end room. It's without question, it's the class of your position groups, right?
I think I have tight end points on lock, and literally it's the running back that I need to worry about my depth. And if I can get anything out of my wide receivers 4, 5, and 6, but you break it down here from the 8th spot. Let's hear what you're thinking about this team that you just took.
Yeah, I got a lot of theoretically got some really fun high upside quarterbacks. In a perfect world, if Hurts is playing every game that he's outside of his bye week, like he's gonna give me 20 points a week. So you got that nice foundation theoretically. I love Trevor Lawrence. I think we're all pretty much aligned that the Jaguars offense is on the up and up and going to be a top 10 unit this year. Jackson Dart, I like him a lot. I've got a little bit of shares in Dynasty, so maybe I'm drinking some Kool-Aid here. Definitely know for a fact he's not the week 1 starter, but I don't know. I don't know how long Russell Wilson can hold on, and I just feel like Jameis Winston is a career backup at this point. Running back room, I'm excited for. I kind of did the 3-3. You got the 3 starters: Jeanty, Hall, Pacheco. I think all those guys are pretty much studs. Liked the ADP on all of them. Probably, I don't have a lot of exposure on Jeanty, but I don't know. It's just kind of a fun thing to dream about. He's obviously the super duper stud. He's certainly deserving of being, drafted in the NFL draft where he was. And then on the other side, I got the backups, 3 backups that I'm really, really excited about. If one of their starters goes down, those guys are just horses in my opinion. I think they're if one of their starters went down, I could see them finishing the season from the week that their starter went down to the end of the season and like top 10, top 15 at the RB position. So the upside of all 3 of those guys is so juicy to me. To some degree, if I have some weird injury luck there, it feels like this is a best ball team that can really, really battle for some money. Receiver, like I said, you take one receiver in the top 4 rounds, you fall behind quick. I feel like I played catch up in a reasonable way. I love AJ Brown. We've talked a lot about, maybe not necessarily on podcasts, but we've talked a lot offline about connecting your number 1 quarterback with your number 1 receiver, or maybe actually flipping that, connecting your number 1 receiver with your number 1 with their quarterback. That seems to just be a very positive best ball strategy in general. A lot of very successful best ball teams over the last few years seem to do that. You talked really highly about Calvin Ridley. Really, I think Ridley, Odunze, Kupp as my kind of receiver 2s, receiver 3s. That's, I don't know. That's not the best in this league, not the best in any league, but certainly feel like I'm going to be doing enough. And then, honestly, between Coleman, Douglas, Dynamic Brown, I definitely feel like one of those guys is going to give me a week that I can use in a best ball format just about every week, honestly. So I feel like I'm getting enough from the receiver room. On the opposite end of what you did, I definitely feel like I'm weakest at tight end. I really like Jonnu Smith. I really like my Brenton Strange, Trevor Lawrence stack. And I'm actually, for the 20th round, I think Cole Kmet is a fantastic tight end. I don't know if I could have done much better. But, overall, definitely feel like that group is weaker. And if Jonnu Smith doesn't have a fantastic season like last year, I'm going to be behind the 8 ball there.
My only wonder with your team is Jackson Dart. Is he going to start any games for you with Hurts and Lawrence?
It's like a spare tire type situation. Yeah. If Lawrence and or Hurts don't finish the season, I really like Dart post bye week. So it's just kind of a fun dart throw, for lack of a better way to say it.
I'm just nitpicking.
It was not necessary. I hate going 2 QB. I love having that third guy. I was really close to going just 2 QB. I think Hurts and Trevor Lawrence are more than enough.
And this is the classic 3-6-8-3 build, which we recommend everybody doing if you're going to be drafting on drafters. I never draft 4 quarterbacks. I think this might have been the Hurts Lawrence duo might have been the one where I'm fine with 2. Give me one more dart at wide receiver or tight end and see what happens. I don't know if there's any more tight ends left there.
I was actually something I've been doing a lot is taking the 2 Charger tight ends at the end of the draft. So getting Conklin in round 18, 19, and then Disley in round 20. And that was really close to happening for me here. But our boy Aiden, he starts chatting in the chat and you start reading it. And also I do have, I would imagine my Jackson Dart exposure is a little higher than even I realize. I've been swinging at him a little bit at the end of drafts.
Okay.
I think he's a spicy little meatball. I don't need Aiden to tell me that, but we all know Aiden's got good ideas too. So I really like Jackson Dart.
Okay, very good. Any final thoughts here for the good people? This was fun. I do want to do these more often. I know the $20 draft is not for everybody, but I do think.
Do we want to take a quick peek at the other guy's team? I forget his name.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, let me pull that up. Thank you for remembering.
He paid to play.
He paid to play, and we're going to review it here on live TV.
A little overtime for you.
Let me pull it up here.
Hopscotch or something.
Hopscotch Daisy from the 12 hole. All right. Quarterbacks, Stroud, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers. I think that's plenty enough to get you where you need to go. I personally think we haven't seen the best of CJ Stroud. Last year was a bit of a struggle, and he's going to end up stacking Stroud with Nico Collins later. So I like the three QBs here. I think it's pretty well layered.
Yes.
Running backs, James Conner, something old. RJ Harvey, something new. Tony Pollard, a trusted vet. I think between those three guys, you probably have your top two running backs pretty much, figured out. Charbonnet on bench, we know he's good. If Walker misses time, that's great. Jayden Blue, one of my favorite dart picks we get after ADP. And then Rachaad White, who everyone's just kind of, trashing as a guy that won't be a football player in 2025. So I think the running back room looks pretty good here, 1 through 6.
Absolutely. Agreed. We were talking a lot about fun upside handcuffs, and Charbonnet is –
He's the one. He's the best.
You look that up in the dictionary, and you're going to see Zach Charbonnet.
He's the best one. And I have a soft spot for Jayden Blue because I know he's going to be the most explosive back for Dallas. He's going to be better. He's going to have bigger plays than Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. I think that's an undisputed fact. It's just a matter of how many touches does he get. We'll see. Are you going to undispute that fact?
No, I like it.
Okay, you look like you were thinking about it.
No, you know how romantic and how important weddings are to us. I had to look up the quote: something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, and I had to look it up because if you go back to the running backs real quick, he does have a blue. So I was like, in my head, I'm trying to think of which is borrowed, and it's probably Pollard, right? Yeah,
Pollard, he's borrowed. So something old, something new, something
borrowed, and something blue. He did it. He did it. We've cracked a little. Yeah.
Hopscotch Daisy. He's gonna win the millie, dude. God damn it. The receivers look pretty good. He's got BTJ, Nico, who's got.
That
Nico.
Is my favorite thing in the world. BTJ and Nico at the turn. That is nothing in this world makes me happier than that. That is absolutely A+ work. And of course, Mike Evans. My goodness. And you could see a path where this guy's got the top, 3 of the top 6 receivers this year, right? Like
one of Evans or Hill, if they pan out, like this is a money spot. And if Keenan Allen signs with a team, like he's going to be going through the roof in ADP. Deontay Thornton was running with the ones over Jack Besh. This guy knows ball. I can tell that Hopscotch Daisy, you pay attention and you're following the OTAs in the news. Because you got Deontay Thornton on here. You have Roman Wilson, who is competing for the starting slot duties in Pittsburgh. A little bit of Mike Williams. Mike Williams is going to catch 3, 4, 5 touchdowns from Justin Herbert this year. A little bit of Isaac Tesla down here. I think this is a really fun – it's a top-heavy group, man. Thomas, Nico, Evans, and Tyreek Hill. If you get anything out of any of these other guys, we're cooking. And then the rare 2 tight end combo.
But good ones. He grabbed strong tight ends. But yes, that always scares me. But at the same time, if you have 2 horses that you trust, why not?
Round 7 and it looks like round 9 here for the tight end. So a very good build here, man. I like it.
Give me your Evan Ingram pitch because I have 0. I really went in heavy on him last year and it was a good choice, but this year I'm off, and I don't know why. I don't have a good reason for it, but I'm just afraid of him.
So my biggest pitch on Evan Ingram is going to be derogatory towards Bo Nix. I don't think Bo Nix is that good of a quarterback. I think Bo Nix is a bumper bowler. I think he's going to throw the ball 6 yards down the field and collect these very short throws to Evan Ingram, who Evan Ingram's whole career is built on these 6, 7, 8-yard catches, and maybe he makes a guy miss and falls over for 2 yards after the catch, whatever. But Bo Nix, not a good quarterback, but he's a good executor of what the offense is asking him to do. And that's why he had success last year. Evan Ingram has the ability to get open in the short yard of the field. I'm going to say this, if Evan Ingram is healthy all year, he's going to lead the Broncos in receptions, which in a full PPR format here, you're looking at maybe 70, if not 80 catches.
Yeah.
from your tight end too, which that is the pitch. Is Bo Nix stinks and can't throw the ball more than 8 yards down the field.
And Sean Payton offense is going to scheme up Evan Ingram short yardage,
all day.
Crossing routes, screens, all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, no, that's an interesting pitch, and I'm a big Bo Nix fan, so that's it's hard to hear about the bumper bowling, but the vision is interesting to me. Yeah, I think Hopscotch. Yeah, well said, Sharp. I think Hopscotch nailed it too.
I think there's a legit chance that he's getting 5 mostly zeros from Keenan Allen, Thornton, Wilson, Williams, and Tesla. I'm not super excited about this, but if he gets anything to hit out of those bottom receivers, to just tack on to these guys here, I think this is a well-layered team, and it's got a chance, man. It's got a chance. I would have liked maybe a little bit of – he doesn't have any Pittsburgh stack. I guess he stacked all 3 quarterbacks, so this is – yeah, Daisy, man. Like, hats off, man. You had a very nice.
Let him cook.
You waited on QB. You filled all
something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. I mean, there's levels to this team, dude.
Hopscotch Daisy, man. Hats off to you, my man. But dude, this was fun. We're back in the mix here. I've been doing a lot of slow drafts, not a lot of fast drafts, because just life is fast, so I got to go slow.
What it feel like to get on the highway and just open it up?
Dude, I'm this close to just being ready to fast all day, but I can't get sucked into these $2 drafters, man. This year I think I'm done with the $2 faster slows. I think I'm done with the 2s. My $2 is better being spent at DraftKings for $3 and getting a chance for that escalator into the fantasy playoffs.
For sure.
So we'll figure that out. But hey. We ended up with we had a steady 13, 14, 15 people in here all day. My guy Scott, good evening to Scott and Hopscotch Daisy stayed with us for the end. Rob Gronkowski profile pick, but shout out to Scott. Hope you're doing well, my man. Scott watches a lot of the best ball stuff here. He's always commenting and having good takes on the videos. But John, it's June 17th. We're in the ass crack of football news. So,
yeah, right. Real practices and whatnot are getting started soon.
We got a good month or so, but hey, we got a good month or so to be buying ADPs and things like that. So give me 3 players real quick that you need more shares of throughout the summer as we're heading into camp.
That I need more shares of?
You go first. I'll go first. I just threw that on you.
Jordan Love,
Packers.
who I probably have too many shares of, but you always need more.
Always need more.
Let me try to get one from every position.
Yeah.
I'm not as high on Derrick Henry this year. Not necessarily like do not draft, but I'm not as high on him. And as a result, I'm just missing him completely. I have to absolutely have 0% exposure right now. And that's always a bad thing to do. So I think Derrick Henry's a guy that I could probably talk myself into a little more in second rounds. Receiver. You know what? Honestly, I think I'm going to be regretting my 0% exposure on Mike Evans by week 5, like I do every single year. He is absolutely a stud. I wish I had a deeper cut, like someone from later in the draft. Tight end could be Evan Ingram. I really liked your Evan Ingram pitch, and I've got no exposure on him right now. That just feels like a mistake on my part because I've had ample opportunities to draft him. So at least for now, that's where my head's at. Give me yours.
Those are all good answers. For me, I'm not going to list one of the obvious quarterbacks or anything like in the top 10. I will say though, I think I'm getting sucked into Dallas and Dak Prescott. They did absolutely nothing to address the running back position again. They signed Javonte Williams and drafted Jayden Blue. They added Miles Sanders. They don't give a shit who their running back is.
Correct.
They're going to throw the fuck out of the ball again. And if Dak Prescott puts together 16, 17, 18 games, they brought in George Pickens. That to me tells me we want to throw the ball 600 times. We want Dak throwing 35 touchdowns and 4,500 yards.
Yeah.
That is an interesting spot because I think CeeDee Lamb, I took him at 2 overall here. He goes 3, 4, 5, 6 sometimes. He's one of the easier clicks in the first round to achieve. And then I was able to get Dak Prescott pretty cheap in this thing. So the CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, George Pickens, that's an easy stack to be getting.
Yeah.
I haven't really clicked on a lot of Dak Prescott, so I think I'm going to be clicking on a lot more him. Honorable mention, CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud, year 3, they had a lot of issues last year. I think CJ Stroud's an easy bounce back candidate in year 3. Running backs, guys that I have not been clicking on that I want to click more on. I love my Pacheco's. I love my Stevensons. I think I need to start clicking on some more of the older backs, whether it's Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones, because last year showed us, like, hey, age be damned. If you're good at running back, it almost doesn't matter what age you are. If you're going to stay healthy and put up points, I think Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones, those guys are both very interesting clicks. And then one sleeper at the running back position. Give me Austin Eckler in full PPR, man. I think he's still got some juice, and he looked good last year. It's a good offense. You want to be
Brian Robinson is not the guy. He's not a stud. He's great. Maybe not great. He's good, but yeah, he's not a true RB1, I don't think.
So one of my good listeners was on the show last Wednesday when we were mock drafting, and he was saying, "Hey, what's wrong with Brian Robinson? I think he's a breakout player this year." And I kind of poo-pooed it a little bit. And then this morning, I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to update my running back projections for the Commanders just a little bit. And I got him a little bit higher. I don't think he's a league winner, but I think he's a serviceable running back too. That's going to get volume in a good offense and lead the team in rushing and touchdowns and things like that. So I don't hate Brian Robinson, but man, I think Austin Eckler, when he played last year, he was getting you 12 points. Like he's the Jaylen Warren. He's the guy that I always fall for. So
absolutely.
For. Receivers, it's Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I don't have any Devontae either.
I don't have any Devontae, but I need more because I don't think there's a chance that he's going to be better than Puka unless Puka gets injured. But if Puka gets injured, oh my goodness! Like if he misses 3-4 games, he might be wide receiver 1. But last year we didn't see
within that Matt Stafford, Devontae stacks, like just that in general. I've got 0 Stafford, I've got 0 Devontae. That just feels like a recipe. They're both maybe not Devontae so much, but they're both cheaper than they should be.
Yeah, start one of your drafts with Puka, land Devontae in round 4, and then you're kind of on the races there. But I don't think we saw Devontae fall off at all last year. I think we just saw the Jets struggle, but Devontae still has points. So I'm very much interested in Devontae Adams. One more receiver that I'm needing more of, it's probably Cooper Kupp, honestly, just to piggyback on the whole Ram situation. I think I've got Cooper Kupp ranked pretty low in the 40s for me, and Sam Darnold, man, he's going to throw it to a guy he trusts, and Cooper Kupp, I think, can earn that trust. So I think as much as I like JSN, I think Cooper Kupp's going to be a popular target for Mr. Darnold. And then tight ends. I draft every tight end. Like I like all the tight ends because I just love old guys. So I'm going to say my answer is rookie tight ends. I need more Colston Loveland and I need more Tyler Warren. And that'll kind of cover my tight end part of the question. But my goodness, this was fun.
We did good work, man. We did good work.
It's fun. We covered a lot of bases. We had Hopscotch Daisy with us drafting tonight, which was cool. I didn't know anyone else was going to be in the draft with us.
That was fun. Yeah, he did good work over there on the backside.
So we'll try and set another one of these up. Maybe every other week we end up doing one of these. We'll talk off air about that. But this was fun. Last words for the good people, and then we'll get out of here.
Go Thunder.
Go Thunder. And I'm going to say go Cerveceros. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Got me feeling icy.